Welcome to another Demarcation Media Top 10 video. So Mega's figures tend to be pretty good, but sometimes they just really miss the mark. Like inaccurate or poor quality control or just bad source material. For whatever reason, they're just really bad figures. And I know you already started getting worried that I have this honor guard here because he's going to be on the list. And no, he is not in fact going to be on the list. But today we are going to be looking at the top 10 worst Mega Construx Halo figures of all time. Well, that's a little bit questionable because worst can be a little bit subjective, and also I don't have a collection that spans the entirety of the Halo line. I don't have a lot of the older figures, but we're going to work with what we've got. So without any further ado, let's jump right in. Coming in at the number 10 spot is the Halo 2 and 3 Master Chief. And right now I have the one from the Elephant here, but honestly this goes for literally any and every Chief that Mega has made from the Halo 2 and 3 era, because they just can't get it right. The lower legs, the thigh armor, and the lower arms are all wrong. And they actually have the pieces for it. Look, those lower legs, those thighs. I don't know if those lower arms are quite accurate, but I feel like they're closer than the Reach forearms. But for some reason, for some strange, unknown reason, Mega insists on using the Halo Wars Spartan legs and the Halo Reach arms, and this goes for literally every Chief. So these figures are cool. They're great figures to get, but in terms of accuracy, they're pretty bad. Like they got the correct chest, even though it's a little bulky. Head's pretty good, shoulders pretty good, and that's about where it ends. The rest of it is really inaccurate, and because of that, he has earned the number 10 spot on this list. In the number 9 spot, we have the original Halo 2 Sergeant Johnson. And, you know, as a whole, this figure isn't actually bad. The armor is done well, the colors are done well, all of that. But the thing that is lacking is his head. And it is Sergeant Johnson, so the head is decently important. Actually, this one, print-wise, is really good. Some of these guys have horrifying eyes, but this guy looks good. Like, as a just normal head, that's really good. I would not complain if that was just some random figure. But no, it's supposed to be Johnson, and it's kind of got to be recognizable as Johnson. Here is their newer Johnson mold side by side. And you can just see, to be honest, the head that we've got over here on the right, the old one, looks like a Mario head. It looks like a dark-skinned Mario has entered Halo, not Johnson. I mean, this Johnson's head is pretty good. The mold is really good. I personally prefer the Marauder Johnson, but this one is pretty solid. This one just doesn't look like Johnson. Just because he's got darker skin and a mustache doesn't make him Johnson, but as an actual figure, he's not horrible, which is why he's only in the number 9 slot. Number 8, this is the Halo Universe Series 1 Marine. So this guy is a little bit frustrating. Because, first of all, he's supposed to be a Halo 2 Anniversary Marine. He's using the wrong chest plate. That printed up chest plate is cool, but the Halo 2 Anniversary Marines used the chest plates that looked more like the Halo Wars chest plates. So that was an inaccuracy there. And then the legs, for some reason, Mega decided to use the legs that should be on Chief for the Marine. And yes, the Anniversary Marines are more armored up, but that's just not a good choice. He's got ODST thigh plates, which I think is fine, even though it does severely limit his articulation from the back. Concept-wise, I think it's fine. I probably would have just gone with the normal Marine thighs because that's what it looked like, and not those Spartan lower legs. He needed something else. Maybe ODST legs, I don't know, but not that. The green choice, I don't feel like it really works for the Anniversary look that they're going for. And then the helmet, it is the removable one, so that's kind of cool, but at the same time, it's super thin. Like, too thin. and there's too much forehead showing in the helmet. So yes, that's kind of how they looked in the game, but that's, I don't know, that just looks wrong. It doesn't look quite right. I think people put this on masked heads and it looks kind of cool, but I really hope Mega never uses this helmet again. Like, they need to fix it first. There just should not be that much forehead showing for this figure. So yeah, as a whole, not very accurate, weird mishmash. It's like Mega couldn't decide if they wanted to do the anniversary version or the normal version, and then we ended up with this. And it's just really not great. Coming in at number 7, we have the Ghost of Requiem Grunt. Now, I don't actually really have anything against the 343 Grunts. I think they're fine. I think, yeah, they're a little different. They have a sharky looking head, but as a whole, I think they're not bad. This one in particular, though, has no face. And yes, Mega's grunts typically have no face. The Bungie era looking grunts don't have a face. But this face doesn't really work that way, especially because in the past, and this is a Warrior Series grunt right here, this is a blind bag grunt. Keep that in mind. Blind bag grunt had a fully painted face. Got teeth, got eyes, and everything. And then this guy on the right is just totally blank. I mean, look at that. That's not good. That's kind of horrifying. So yeah, he kind of earns this spot with that detail only, really, because the rest of him is fine. I mean, he's got the orange color and the mask and whatever, but there's something about these grunts that just look so wrong without the eyes. I think it's because their design is a little bit more chaotic, and the eyes really help tie everything together, and he just doesn't have them, and he really needs a dab of paint here and there to make his eyes come back, and that's really not what you want to see on a figure that you just got. Number 6 is my least favorite Halo Infinite Marine out of all of the Halo Infinite Marines, and she comes from Halo Infinite Blind Bags Series 3. And I mean, there's nothing inherently wrong about her as a normal Marine. I don't really love these shoulders because it makes it so you can't put armor on them, although I think it's fine because it is supposed to be like a survivor. She came with the like Halo 5 assault rifle for some reason, or like the OG Halo assault rifle, whatever, however you want to title that. That is not the right assault rifle for the Halo Infinite stuff. And it came with a ammo counter, and I don't really know why. But the thing that's really bad is this head. I hate this head. This head is horrifying. First of all, the facial expression is like weird. I don't really like that. But the thing that's really bad is, first of all, the hair color, it's meh. But they just cannot seem to print the front of those hair bits. So now she's got these weird skin lobes hanging down off of her ears. Just ruins the look of the whole figure. I mean, look at that. It's literally flesh hair. That's not good. That's not what you want to see. I mean, you can slap a helmet on it, then you can't see it as much, but now it just looks like her ears are hanging down out of the helmet. Yeah, no, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And because of that, she gets the number 6 spot. In the number 5 slot, we have Miranda Keyes. This is the 20th anniversary version, and actually, as a whole, she's pretty decent. The printing on the body is great. I mean, you can see, look at all the detail. There's stripes that go down the entire side of her. There's nice print on the arms. All of it's great up until the moment that you look at her head, and look at that. It's that same horrifying head that was used first on the Marine. Why? First of all, that expression, I mean, kind of looks like her, and that's mostly fine. Her eyes are kind of fine-ish here. The hair color is gray, though, which is wrong. I don't really know why Mega went with gray, because she's not a gray-haired person. And then, once again, there are those little skin lobes on the front. I mean, look at that. That's actually not the worst. I've seen worse, and I've also seen people who got better prints. So if you get a better print, then this figure is actually not too bad. But the amount of print errors like that was very high, so the chances of you getting one that's good is slim to none. So that, to me, makes this figure fall pretty squarely onto the list, because that's just, I mean, that's ugly. That's really, yeah, it breaks the way the figure looks. And the hair being gray, like, why? Why is the hair gray? That makes no sense, Mega. Coming in at number 4, we have Miranda Keyes. And no, I did not make a mistake. This is the Forward Unto Dawn version, and she has a lot less detail, which I think is fine because that's the way that her outfit was supposed to be made. Her hair color is a little better, still a dark gray, which is weird. The plastic is more of a metallic-y blue, which I don't think was a great choice. But once again, the head. What the heck is that? So the hair is done kind of right. I mean, that's not horrible. But what are those eyes? First of all, is she supposed to have a scar through her eyebrow? And then second, what did they do? What is that? Her eyes are like all lopsided, and I've seen other ones that were like properly printed and they still look horrifying. Something about the way that they did that black outline and then printed a pupil, it's just bad. It always looks bad. I have not seen a single Miranda from this Forward Unto Dawn set that looked genuinely good. It's horrifying. I have very little to say good about this head mold. Mega has only done it good once, and that was with the Marine in the Wasp set. So, yeah, don't buy the Forward Unto Dawn for the figure. The ship itself is super cool, but the figure is horrifying and well deserves the number 4 spot on this list. We are in the top 3 now, and in the number 3 slot, we have the Delta Series Blind Bags Spartan Protector. Although this just kind of goes in general for any Spartan Protector. That head, and again, there's a bit of a trend here. A lot of these problems that make the figures the worst comes from the head. I mean, the armor is pretty fine. I mean, he's recruit legs, and the shoulders are pretty normal. The chest is kind of cool, but the head, there's just nothing to look at on that head that makes me think it's a face. It looks more like the Flood, like Alpha Form head than it does a Spartan head. I mean, even with the stripe and the printed mouth or whatever, like there's no discernible visor, and when you have something that's supposed to represent a human, like there's kind of a face in there, but not really. You need a face. Like, you need a face to look at. Otherwise, you're really not going to remember this much. You're not going to care about it much, and I feel like that's exactly what this figure does. There's nothing for me to look at in the face. I don't even want to take photos of this guy because there's nothing for me to look at with the face. Even with some of the Spartan armors that I really don't like, Vector, for example, there's still generally a face for me to look at because it's got that big bubble, and I know, looking at it, the bubble is the face. This, I don't see a face. I see a stripe and a mouth, and that's it. And because of that, him, and by extension, all of the other protectors get the number 3 spot. Number 2 is the 20th anniversary pack Golden Spartan Locke. And no, I'm not putting him on this list because I just hate Locke. In fact, I actually really like Locke. I think he's a cool character. But first of all, I just think this is an ugly figure. The variation in the gold is looking really wrong here. I don't know. On the CE Chief, it was there and it looked cool. Here, it doesn't look nearly as good. The visor print is meh. I mean, it's not horrible, but that color is a poor choice. But the thing that really gets me are the shoulders. Why, Mega, did you put Halo Wars Spartan shoulders on Locke? Look at this. So Mega has had kind of some trouble over the years deciding what shoulders to give Locke, and for a while they didn't give him any shoulders and just printed the little locking knob, and then finally they settled on these, and it works perfectly. It's the low kind of low profile shoulders, and then they just said, guys, what if we put the Halo Wars Spartan shoulders on there? And then they did that. So I don't really know why they did that, and it really makes me dislike this figure. I mean, it's kind of a useless figure anyway, but this makes it even more useless because it's not even accurate. Coming in the number 1 spot, And this figure is, in my opinion, the absolute worst figure that Mega has ever made in the history of making Mega figures. And that is the 20th anniversary pack Golden Cortana, or P-Tana, or Banana Cortana, or a hideous monstrosity that really should just be chucked in the trash. Yeah, I don't know who thought this was a good idea, but it wasn't. That's the most ugly shade of yellow. It's like a banana. It's banana pudding yellow, right? Banana pudding yellow on gold. So first of all, this figure might have been fine and might have even been like interesting if they had just left it pure gold. But no, they didn't. Instead, they did this, and the face is just, looks like she's wearing one of those moisturizing masks. And then the rest of her print is, I mean, the print quality is decent. Not great, but decent. But that is the most ugly color ever. Like, really? Really, Mega? Why? Why would you do this? This is so not good. Yeah, I think they should have just put a normal Cortana in that 20th pack instead of this horrifying mess. Let's actually look at that head real quick. Cortana, guys. Just like you remember her from the games. No. Just no. This figure deserves to be tossed in the trash. Like, actually, just tossed. Well, there you have it. That is the top 10 worst Mega Construx figures of all time. Now, what I want to know is, do you guys agree with this list? Do you disagree? Do you think there are figures that should have been on this list? What is your top 10? Or even what is just your top 5 or top 1 worst figure that you just really hate? Let me know down in the comments below. And honestly, it's very difficult to find figures that can be like definitively the worst, because Mega consistently does a really good job. And there are things like this guy that it's like, he's a good figure. He just happens to be very inaccurate, and Mega continuously makes him really inaccurate. But it's still a good figure, and I feel a little bad putting him on the list. But that's kind of the thing that needs to be looked at. That's why I wanted to make this list, because like, there's things where it's like quality control. This is definitively a bad figure because almost every version of her has that quality control problem. Or there's this guy who is definitively bad just because 343 decided to make such a weird helmet. Like, yeah, I'm not one to get on board with the like Halo 4 and 5 helmet hating, because I think some of them are really cool, but that one just doesn't work. It just doesn't. And if there's somebody who disagrees with me, please in the comments tell me. I would love to hear why you like this helmet. But in my opinion, and I feel like most of you guys are probably going to agree, that's just a bad helmet. So yeah, let me know down in the comments, what are your worst figures, top 10, top 5, top 1, and why is it P-Tana, whom we will never see again. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.